You know, I was walking through a massive airport parking lot the other day trying to find my rental, and it hit me. We have reached peak blob.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean.
You look down a row of cars, and it's just this sea of gray, vaguely egg-shaped crossovers. It's like the entire automotive industry looked at a wind tunnel result and just said, okay, let's just copy-paste that shape for the next 10 years.
It's what we call convergent evolution in design. I mean, when every manufacturer is chasing the exact same drag coefficient and following the same safety regulations, the shape, they inevitably start to look the same.
It's not just lazy then.
Not necessarily. It's physics and bureaucracy, squeezing the creativity out of the metal.
Squeezing the creativity out. That is the perfect way to put it. But then you see this thing in the middle of all that gray fog, the Hyundai Kona, and you realize, okay, someone at the design studio in Korea woke up one morning and chose absolute violence against boredom.
It definitely makes a statement.
It's not just another lifted hatchback. It's a statement piece. But before we get into whether that difference is actually a good thing,
right,
we have a small favor to ask.
That's right. If you appreciate these deep dives where we don't just, look at the surface, but really analyze the engineering underneath, please take a second to subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, it really helps us keep doing this.
It lets us dig into the data that really matters.
Absolutely. So hit that button. Now here's the conflict today, and I think this is going to be a fun one. I am completely sold on the vibe of this car. It just screams future. But I know you. You're sitting there with your eyebrows raised, looking at spreadsheets, ready to tell me if it's actually a good car or just a sci-fi prop.
I am skeptical, I admit. You know me. A flashy design can sometimes be a smokescreen for lackluster engineering or some cost cutting.
Right.
According to the data I have in hand here, everything from engine cycles to suspension geometry, my goal is to see if the mechanical reality actually matches that aggressive look. Is it a robot samurai or just a toaster in a costume?
Toaster in a costume. Ouch. Okay, challenge accepted.
Okay.
So here's the roadmap. We're going to cover that wild exterior, the tale of two very different engines. I mean, they basically make it two different cars.
They really do.
Then there's a hidden suspension secret that most people will totally miss, and an interior revolution that actually changes how you use the space.
Let's start with the face. You can't miss it.
The face it's just wild. You're immediately hit by what Hyundai calls the seamless horizon lamp. It's not two headlights. It's this single razor-thin line of light stretching across the whole front.
Yeah.
It honestly looks like the helmet from RoboCop.
It does have a very strong EV look, even on the gas models.
Yeah.
But looking at the design notes here, that light bar isn't just for shock value.
Okay.
It serves a specific optical function. In-car design, width equals presence. So by running a seamless line across the front, they're tricking your brain into seeing the car as wider, more planted, and more aggressive than it actually is.
It works because when you see it in the rearview mirror, it looks substantial. The real headlights are kind of hidden down in the bumper corner.
Adds to the mystery. But we should talk about the side because that's where the personality is.
Right, the off-road versus street thing. It all comes down to trim.
It's a crucial distinction. You have the SE and SEL trims, and then you have the N line. The difference is the cladding.
The dreaded plastic cladding. The industry is obsessed with it. On the base models, you've got these huge angular chunks of black plastic around the wheel.
It's the rugged look.
It's the off-road pretender look. Like, I might drive on a gravel driveway once this year, so I need armor.
Well, it creates a certain visual language, but then you look at the N line, and they replace all that black plastic with body-colored panels.
And it completely changes the car.
Yeah.
It goes from weekend camper to street racer in a sec. It looks lower, cleaner, sharper. But, I mean, is it too aggressive for a daily driver? Is it just too busy?
That's the debate, isn't it? Design is subjective. But from a market perspective, standing out is a risk. You might alienate the buyer who just wants a slightly taller roll-up.
I'm with Hyundai on this one.
Yeah.
I'd rather drive something that half the people hate and half the people love than something no one even remembers.
A fair point.
But, okay, let's get under that RoboCop skin. You promised me data, and I know this is where you usually find the toaster part.
This is where the story gets really interesting. It's a tale of two ends. And this isn't just about horsepower. It's a choice between, let's say, efficiency and emotion.
Let's start with the boring one. The base engine, the 2.0-liter four-cylinder.
Right, the entry-level op. Now, the key thing here, looking at the back, is that it runs on the Atkinson cycle.
Okay, unpack that. We hear that term a lot, usually with hybrids, but this isn't a hybrid. What does it actually mean for the person behind the wheel?
It's all about thermodynamics. So in a normal engine, the intake valve closes right as the piston starts moving up, compress the air and fuel. You trap it all in there.
Get the biggest bang.
Exact. But in an Atkinson cycle engine, the intake valve is deliberately left open a little longer as the piston starts coming up.
Wait, so wouldn't you just push the air back out?
You do. You're basically burping some of that air-fuel mix back into the intake. It lowers the cylinder pressure, which means the engine doesn't have to work as hard to compress what's left. It reduces pumping losses.
So it's more efficient because it's easier.
In a way, yes. It sips gas, that's the pro, but there's always a penalty.
And the penalty is power.
It's power density. You have less mixture to burn, so you get less immediate punch. That's why this engine can feel, like, let's be polite and say leisurely.
Leisurely is the expert way of saying it's slow. I was reading a review, I think it was Car and Driver, and they said merging onto the highway feels like trying to win a drag race against a minivan.
They're not wrong.
And the minivan's probably going to win.
It takes about 10 seconds to get to 60. You need patience, but it is bulletproof reliable. And to their credit, they paired it with an IVT, an intelligent variable transmission. Now, I know you hate CVTs.
I do. That rubber band effect. You step on it, the engine screams, and the car just sort of thinks about moving.
Usually, yes. That's because they use a push belt. But the data shows Hyundai did something different here. They use a chain belt.
A chain belt, like a timing chain.
A similar idea, yeah, but huge. Instead of relying on friction, the chain actually has pins that bite into the pulleys. It handles torque much better and gets rid of that slipping sensation.
So it's still not fast, but it feels more connected.
Exact. It's engineered for longevity, not speed. It's the appliance option.
Okay, that's the refrigerator that gets you to work, but I don't want a refrigerator. Talk to me about the fun option.
The 1.6-liter turbocharged GDI. This is the one you'll want.
Now we're talking. What are the numbers?
Nearly 200 horsepower, 190 to be exact, and 195 pound-feet of torque. In a small crossover, that's a lot of shove. But the real headline here isn't just power, it's the transmission they paired with it.
Ah, this is a huge deal.
Yeah.
Because the old Kona Turbo had that dual clutch transmission.
It did. A 7-speed dry dual clutch. On paper, they're great, instant shift. But in real-world stop-and-go traffic, that 7-speed was problematic.
Problematic is kind. It was jerky. You'd be creeping forward in a drive-through, and the car would lurch and shudder. It made you look like you couldn't drive a manual.
Precisely. It struggled with low-speed engagement. The data for the new model shows they completely scrapped that for the turbo. It's now paired with a traditional 8-speed automatic with a torque converter.
So old school is better.
Much better for a daily driver. A torque converter is smooth when you're creeping, crisp, and you still feel connected.
So you get the punch of the turbo without the jerkiness of the old transmission.
It's the best of both worlds. It transforms the car from an economy box into something genuinely fun. But there's another hidden layer to this whole decision. We need to get under the car.
Okay, but before we crawl under there, we have to take a quick pause.
If you're enjoying this breakdown, please don't forget to like the video and leave a comment below. It really helps the algorithm find other car nerds like us.
Yeah, tell us what you think. Team RoboCop design, or is it just too much? And seriously, hit subscribe. It helps us out a ton.
Okay, on to the suspension. Because there's a mechanical difference here that's not obvious on the spec sheet at all.
This is the part that blew my mind. I just thought, you buy all-wheel drive for snow, front-wheel drive for sun. Simple, right?
That's the assumption. But with the Kona, that choice dictates your entire rear suspension.
So let's start with the front-wheel drive model. What am I getting in the back?
You get a torsion beam rear suspension.
Torsion beam. Break that down.
Imagine a big U-shaped steel bar connecting the two rear wheels. It's simple, very cheap to make, and it's compact, so you get a bit more cargo space.
Cheap and spacious. Sounds great. What's the catch?
The catch is a pothole. Because the wheels are physically linked, if the left wheel hits a bump, that beam twists and sends some of that shock over to the right wheel. We call it cross.
So the whole back end of the car gets upset by one bump.
Exactly. The source material describes it as it crashes over bumps. It creates a side-to-side motion that's just not refined.
Crashes is not a word you want to hear. Okay, so what about the all-wheel drive model?
If you get AWD, you get a fully independent multi-link rear suspension.
Multi-link sounds complicated.
It is. Instead of one beam, each wheel is held by multiple arms or links that let it move up and down completely independently of the other side.
So if the left wheel hits a crater, the right wheel just keeps on cruising.
Precisely. The shock is absorbed locally. It keeps the chassis flat. And as one review put it, it keeps your coffee in its cup.
The coffee cup test. So you're not just paying for traction, you're paying for a fundamentally better riding car, even on dry pavement.
Correct. You are upgrading the mechanical sophistication of the whole vehicle. It's a hidden benefit most buyers will completely overlook.
That's wild. Okay, which brings us to where you drink that coffee, the interior.
The space revolution.
We have to talk about the cabin because it's totally different. First off, the screens. It's like an IMAX theater in there.
The dual 12.3-inch curved screen layout, it's the Hyundai signature now.
And it's all one piece of glass, right?
Yes, a seamless panoramic display. Very clean.
And the ambient lighting, 64 colors. You can make it look like a nightclub or a lounge. It's a vibe, but I know what you're interested in.
The shift-by-wire system.
Yes, they moved the gear shifter. It's not in the middle anymore.
Correct. They moved it up to the steering column. It's a stock now.
Which feels a little retro, like an old pickup.
It does, but the benefit is space. By deleting that big lever from the center, they freed up a massive amount of storage.
That is huge for a small car. You can actually put your phone and your coffee down. And speaking of space, the seats. I read they made them 30% thinner. How is that possible without them feeling like a park bench?
It's material science. They used a high-strength steel frame for the seat. Because the steel is so strong, they could use less less bulk.
And shaving an inch off the seat matters because
Because every inch you save on the back of the front seat is an inch of knee room for the person behind you. It's a massive gain in a car this size.
that's incredibly smart. And finally, the tech fix everyone was waiting for.
Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
Finally, it drove me crazy.
It was a bizarre situation where the cheaper trims had wireless, but the expensive ones with the built-in nav required a USB cord.
It made no sense. Congratulations on the top trim. Here's a cable.
Well, they've resolved it. Now wireless is standard across all trims with the big screen. It's a small detail, but it removes a daily point of friction.
Okay, so let's zoom out. We've got the RoboCop face, 2 engines, the secret suspension, the space-age interior. What's the verdict?
The conclusion is strong, but it's conditional.
I think it's arguably the best compact SUV on the market right now. It just feels newer than what Honda and Toyota are offering.
I would agree, with a major caveat. The engineering is thought-lit, really. The seats, the suspension options, it's superior. However, you can't just go buy a Kona.
You have to buy the right Kona.
Exactly. You have to choose. Do you want boring reliability, the 2.0-liter with the torsion beam, which is a fine appliance, or do you want the turbocharged fun with the independent suspension? The car has a split personality.
So if you want the car that lives up to those looks, you have to spend the money for the turbo and the AWD.
According to the data, yes. That's the optimized configuration where the engineering truly matches the design. The base model is a sheep in wolf's clothing. The turbo, that's the worst.
Well, there you have it. The Hyundai Kona chose violence against boredom, and it seems like it won if you check the right boxes.
Yeah.
Listen, if you made it this far, please, one last time, subscribe to the channel.
Your support makes these deep dives possible.
It really does. And I want to leave you with a thought. We talked about how polarizing this design is, but in a world of boring, gray blob cars, is it better to have a design that half the people hate or a design that no one remembers?
That is the question.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the next deep dive.